know the answer. Okay, so question 1. The central nervous system in the human body consists of the brain and
Spinal cord.
the brain and spinal cord. Very good. Important respiratory centers are located in dash. Important respiratory centers.
Pons and medulla oblongata.
Yes, pons and medulla oblongata, okay? So the brain is surrounded by layers of tissues called, sorry, let me scroll. The brain is surrounded by layers of tissues called
meninges.
Yes, correct. The brain is surrounded by layers of tissues called meninges, and the thing is that there are 3 meninges. I told you that, right? That we have the pia mater, we have the dura mater, arachnoid mater, and the pia mater. So these are the 3 meninges that surround the brain and spinal cord, and there are membranes they protect the brain and the spinal cord. Which of the following structures protect the brain from injury?
The cranium.
The cranium, yes. The cranium protects the brain from injury. Which of the following is a function of the efferent division of the nervous system?
Integrating sensory information. See?
Efferent.
They send signals to the muscle.
Sending signals to muscles. That's the function of the efferent. You see, when they say efferent, efferent is going from the brain to the body part. When they say afferent, afferent is going from the body part to the brain. That's what it means.
Okay.
When you hear afferent, the one that starts with A, afferent, those are nerves in your body, and they send messages to the brain. Take, for instance, if I pinch you, afferent nerves in your skin will send the message to the brain. Then the one that will now send message to the body from the brain will now be the efferent. Efferent. So the afferent are otherwise known as sensory because they sense. Then the efferent are otherwise known as motor because they transport information back from the brain to the body. The conscious awareness of a sensation is called
Perception.
Perception. It's good. I think you guys have found answers to all these questions, so it's good. It makes it very fast for us. The term central nervous system refers to the
Brain and spinal cord.
the brain and spinal cord. The central nervous system consists of the brain and
Spinal cord.
spinal cord. They repeated the question again. So all the nervous tissue outside the brain and spinal cord is the dash nervous system.
Peripheral nervous system.
The peripheral nervous system. It consists of all the nervous tissue outside the brain and spinal cord. Okay, so the cells of the nervous tissue that are not neurons but are assist neurons are called
sensories.
There is no sensory.
Number 10.
Number 10. There is no sensory there now.
Oh, sorry.
Neuroglia. Yes.
Neuroglia.
Neuroglia. Yes. I told you there are 2 types of cells in the nervous system. We have the neurons. The neurons, and they are the basic functional units of the nervous system. They are like nephron, which is the basic functional unit of the renal system. The neuroglia are the supporting cells they just support the neurons. That's their own work. So neuroglia are the supporting cells of the nervous system, and there are quite enough. There are a few of them. We have astrocytes, we have oligodendrocytes, we have Schwann cells in the peripheral nervous system. So you will do yourself some good if you Google neuroglia cells and know the ones that are in the CNS and the ones that are in the PNS and their functions. For instance, astrocytes will, with brain capillaries, form blood-brain barrier. All right. Okay, so the answer to this is neuroglia. Question 11. The white fatty substance that coats axons to increase signal speed is
Myelin.
myelin. That's the answer. Myelin sheets. And they are formed by oligodendrocytes. That's the neuroglia that forms them in the CNS. But in the PNS, they are formed by Schwann cells. Okay. Dash neuron transmits signals from the peripheral nervous system to the central nervous system.
Sensory.
Sensory, yes, I just explained that. So which one transmits from the nervous to the PNS?
Motor.
Yeah, motor or motor, anyhow you pronounce it. They're scientists. The two major divisions of the autonomic nervous system are
Sympathetic and
parasympathetic.
sympathetic and parasympathetic. The term central nervous system refers to, see, this question is almost every year, it's like bonus. That's why it's reoccurring, yes. The peripheral nervous system consists of
the spinal and cranial nerves.
Excellent. The spinal and cranial nerves. So, question 16. Which of these cells is not a type of neuroglia found in the central nervous system? I've mentioned it today too.
D.
Schwann cells, yes. I said Schwann cells, they form myelin sheaths in the peripheral nervous system. So, which ones form myelin sheaths in the central nervous system? I've also said that today. I said oligodendrocytes.
Yeah.
The neuron processes that normally receive incoming stimuli are called
Dendrites.
Dendrites. You know, when you draw the structure of the neuron, those things on the cell body that looks like antenna, they are the dendrite, and what they do is to receive incoming stimuli. A neuron with a cell body located in the central nervous system, whose primary function is connecting other neurons, is called
interneuron.
Excellent. Very good. Interneurons, yeah. So the ability to respond to a stimulus is called
Irritability.
That one from your Mr. Niger D.
Yeah.
The substance that is released at axonal endings to propagate a nervous impulse is called
Neurotransmitter.
You know the structure of the neurons. It has something like a tail. That tail is like, that tail, we can, not a tail anyway, but it looks like a tail. We can call it axon. And at the endings, we have like nodes that release neurotransmitter. So what they release is neurotransmitter. Generally, neurons release neurotransmitters. There are quite a number of them: dopamine, acetylcholine, noradrenaline, serotonin, quite a number. Oops. Okay. Afferent nerves are called dash, and motor nerves are called dash.
D.
Sensory
Sensory.
efferent.
Sensory and efferent nerves. Very good. The nervous system consists of neurons which conduct nerve impulses and are supported by unique connective tissue cells known as, they are still asking us for the supporting cells that we have mentioned.
Neuroglia.
Neuroglia, that's it. Neuroglia. They are just supporting cells. Neurons are commonly referred to as
Nerve cell.
Nerve
Nerve
cell.
nerve cells that carry information from the body to the spinal cord.
Neuroglia.
Neuroglia.
Nerves.
No,
Nerves.
don't say neuroglia. Neuroglia don't carry information. I already told you that neurons are the basic units of the nervous system. And neurons, when they come together, they form nerves. So it's nerve that carry information, not neuroglia. Neuroglia are just supporting cells. They don't transmit information. Please take note of that. Which of the following structures is involved in voluntary and reflex skeletal muscle contractions? Involuntary and reflex skeletal muscle contractions.
Somatic cell.
Somatic cell. Nerves.
Somatic. So
Nerve.
anytime you see the word voluntary, I've explained this before, that it has to be somatic. But the ones that are involuntary will now be autonomic from the name. Automatic, you can't control it. Which of the following structures is involved in cardiac? The following structures is involved in cardiac and smooth muscle contraction and glandular secretion.
Autonomic.
Autonomic, because all these things are automatic. Take, for instance, your heartbeat, you don't control it. That's cardiac. Your blood vessels, you can't control your blood vessel. The smooth muscle in your stomach, when you want to feel hungry, you can't control it. Then for the glands too, you can't control it. They are autonomic nervous system activities. Okay. Mental activities involved in memory, intelligence, sense of responsibility, thinking, moral sense, and learning is a function of
Cerebral cortex.
cerebral cortex. Like we have said, anything that involves higher functions is by your cerebral cortex or cerebrum. It is also the largest part of the brain. Is the most conspicuous structure that you see when you take and hold the brain. So, and I said there is a cliche that they are formed from heat. Like they can say this person is highly cerebral. It means that the person is performing at a very high frequency, has sharp memory, has intelligence and all that. Which of the following structures controls the output of hormones from both lobes of the pituitary gland?
Hypothalamus.
The
Hypothalamus.
hypothalamus, yes. Hypothalamus secretes releasing hormones, and these releasing hormones help the anterior pituitary to secrete their own hormones. Okay. The control of reflex centers of vomiting, coughing, sneezing, and swallowing is a function of
Cerebrum.
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 Pons.
What are you guys saying? I said intelligence, memory. That one is the function of your cerebrum.
Medulla.
Cerebrum.
Pons now.
See, if you say cerebrum, then cerebral cortex too is correct, because cerebrum and cerebral cortex are the same thing. Please understand that cerebrum and cerebral cortex are the same thing. then it doesn't function in all this nonsense. Its own is intelligence, memory, emotions, and some of those things, not vomiting, coughing, sneezing. So the answer to this is the medulla oblongata. That's it. The medulla oblongata controls some of these things: vomiting, cough, sneezing, swallowing, not the cerebrum. Cerebrum performs eye functions. Please let that stick. Intelligence, memory, cerebrum performs eye function, not other things, not breathing, not some of these things. So the answer to this is the medulla oblongata. Nervous system detect and respond to change dash. To changes, sorry. That's what should be there. To changes dash.
Inside and outside the
Inside
body.
and outside the body.
Inside and outside the body.
Body.
Dash is the largest part of the brain.
Cerebrum.
Cerebrum.
The cerebrum. I've also mentioned it, the cerebrum. Okay. Dash makes up the outermost layer of the brain.
Gray matter.
Gray matter.
The gray matter, yes. It makes up the outermost layer of the brain. The major relay station for sensory inputs that projects to the cerebral cortex is dash.
Pons.
These pons, you people are like,
Cerebellum.
don't say cerebellum. I said, oh, sorry. Sorry, no. Hold on, chill. But the answer to this is the thalamus. The answer to this is the thalamus, okay? That's the answer to this.
Thalamus.
Yes.
Thalamus.
Okay.
The cranial nerve
Bearing.
involved in moving the tongue is dash. The cranial nerve involved in moving the tongue is dash.
Hypoglossa.
Hypoglossa 12. Yeah, that's it. Were you taught the cranial nerve?
Yeah.
Who taught you?
200 level.
That woman.
Mrs.
That one.
Amo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did she use song to teach you?
No.
Was it not Mrs. Dada that taught you?
I don't know.
Was it Alaja? Was it Alaja?
Not Alaja. No.
That woman, when she taught. Oh, is he a new
That
person?
flat
A new person.
Somebody with flat nyash.
You get nyash.
I don't get it.
Wait.
Parallel.
Let's not drag this segment. I just want to stop dragging it because you know that this thing I'm recording it, so I don't want to be editing it. So if you are saying flat yash, I don't want to be editing it. I post it like that. I just want to know the name of the woman, so don't spoil my video. It's even going on YouTube. You are saying flat yash, round yash. Okay, that's hypoglossa 12. See, for nervous system, it's important you know the nerves, the cranial nerves in particular, because they will just chip it in, ask you, they can say which one is the cranial nerve 1, which one is the cranial. So just read around it and know some of these things about the cranial nerve. Which of these cells form blood-brain barrier? I've mentioned it today. Which of these cells? Astrocytes. Yes. I said astrocytes with the capillaries of the brain form blood-brain barrier. And the essence of the blood-brain barrier is to protect the brain too, so that not so many substances can enter the brain. That's the function of the blood-brain barrier, because the brain is so sacred to the extent that if anything just enters anyhow, you can go wire. Okay, so that's why there are so many things protecting the brain. The meninges, the blood-brain barrier to screen out, to shield out a lot of things from entering the brain, because the brain is so sacred. Any small thing is gone. The first cranial nerve is known as
Olfactory.
the first cranial nerve is known as olfactory. Yeah, that's very good. Excellent. So, you know, maybe because smell is important. That's why the first cranial nerve is olfactory. The meninges are made up of how many layers? I've said it today.
3 layers.
3.
3 layers. Can you mention them?
Oh.
Yeah.
I've mentioned dura mater, arachnoid, pia mater.
Yes,
Yeah,
dura mater. You mentioned it.
So I mentioned it, pia mater, dura mater, this one, that one, pia mater. Okay. So dura, arachnoid, pia. That's how they are arranged though. Dura, arachnoid, pia. DAP. Which part of the brain? Let me see if I can type it.
Okay.
So you see, dura, devil is a liar. Arachnoid and pia mater. So this is the dura, outer, arachnoid, middle, pia, the inner. So have you guys seen it?
Yes, sir.
Which part of the brain controls the vital signs? Which part of the brain controls the vital signs? Don't mention cerebrum, please.
Pons.
Medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata controls the vital signs. That's the part of the brain she likes. Every individual is different now. That's her own part of the brain that she likes. Okay, so the micturition center is located in the dash. We have done this. Oh. The micturition center is located in the dash. All the pons that you have been talking, this is where you should say it. Pons. Pons.
Okay, pons.
Yeah. You have been saying pons, pons. This is where you should have said it. Pons. Okay. Dash carry information from the body to the spinal cord. Simple, straightforward.
Nose viber.
No, fiber.
And it was already wow. Shegun, is that you?
No.
Oh, okay. Nerves fibers. Yeah, that's the answer. Mental activities such as intelligence. You see that they keep repeating this.
Yes,
So what's
cerebral
the answer?
cortex.
Cerebral cortex. Yeah. The basic unit of the nervous system is called dash.
Neuron.
Neurons. Which of these would not produce by the sympathetic nervous system during the stress response? We have done this before too.
Low heart rate.
Slow heart rate. Slow heart rate. Because when you're under stress, your heart rate would be fast. How do neurotransmitters affect the postsynaptic neuron? How do neurotransmitters affect?
Excite or inhibit the next new.
Yes, exactly. They either excite or inhibit the next neuron. The primary responsibility of the spinal cord is dash.
D. Transmit impulse between
Pushing and the effect of Jesus.
To transmit impulses between the brain and the body. D. The major divisions of the autonomic nervous system are
Sympathetic and parasympathetic.
sympathetic and parasympathetic. That one should be boiling in your head by now. Sympathetic, parasympathetic. In fact, if some of you advance to the pharmacy school, you cannot but come across sympathetic and parasympathetic. It's very important. We do autonomic pharmacology, ANS pharmacology in pharmacy school for 1 year. So CNS consists of dash and dash.
Brain.
Brain.
At least you have bonus question. This kind of question now, you should not be saying, Pap Collins, CNS consists of dash and dash. They should break your head if you do that. Okay. Spinal cord is located in dash body cavity.
Posterior.
Posterior.
Posterior, yeah, posterior. Another thing they can, if they don't say posterior, what would they say?
Back now.
Dorsal body cavity.
Dorsal.
Dorsal body cavity. Facial nerve is dash. Love it, Fema.
CN. 7.
CNS 4. 7.
Mobile facial nerve is dash. Okay, so 7. Now let's go to the endocrine system. We have completed all the questions I have available on the nervous system, but it doesn't mean they cannot ask other questions, but it may not be totally different from what we have. It may just be around what we have. Like saying, what is cranial nerve 3? You get, but it will just be around the things that we have. Okay. One of the following hormones is secreted to prepare the breast for lactation.
Prolactin.
See, this endocrine system, they don't have any other question they want to set, because these are all the things they can set. Prolactin, yes, good. ADH promotes increased water permeability of the dash. Next up, what's the full meaning of ADH?
Antidiuretic hormone.
Antidiuretic hormone. Good. What's another name for it? Vasopressin. It's also called vasopressin. So it increases water permeability of the distal convoluted tubule, DCT.
Oh, no,
DCT, distal convoluted tubule. The gland that lies in the apophyseal fossa of the sphenoid bone below the hypothalamus is called it's called pituitary gland. You know, I told you that the anterior pituitary, another name for it is what? Another name for it is adenohypophysis. Then the posterior pituitary, another name for it is neurohypophysis. So anytime you hear hypophyseal fossa, it is the pituitary gland that is there. Okay. When the level of ADH increases, what happens? When the level of ADH increases, what happens? What's the answer? What's the option?
C, B.
Less urine is produced. ADH ensures that your body conserves water. Antidiuretic. Diuresis means to pee. And when you pee or urinate, you are losing water. So anti-urinating, we can just say it like that, anti-urinating. So less urine is produced. That's the answer. When you take diuretics, what happens? You urinate. So when they say something is anti-diuretic, it means anti-urinating. I'm just in quotes, Technically, that's not what it means, but in quotes, it means anti-urinating. So less urine is produced. The pituitary is also called
adenohypophysis.
The pituitary is also called hypophysis. But if they now say the anterior pituitary is also called what?
Okay.
Adenohypophysis. The posterior pituitary is called neurohypophysis. But the pituitary itself, without the division, is called hypophysis. The anterior, you will now add adeno to it. The posterior, you will add neuro to it. So neuro, adeno, like that. The production of melatonin is inhibited by
exposure to bright light.
exposure to bright light. That's why if you see people that don't joke with their sleep, they switch off the light. When you're exposed, some people will say they will come to pharmacy, they want to buy Valium, they say they don't sleep. But yet, they are on Instagram late into the night. They are on their computer late into the night. When you're exposed to bright light, you find it difficult to sleep because it's not all the time. Oh. Some of us are very terrible. I sleep and snore like, because once I'm done with this lecture like this, straight up. So, but some people may not, the production of their melatonin may not be optimal when they are exposed to light. So that's it. Light affects production of melatonin. Normal development and activity of the thyroid gland is controlled by
Thyroid stimulating hormone.
thyroid stimulating hormone. Please, whose voice is that?
Victor.
You are doing well. You are doing well. You are doing well. God is helping you. You are a testimony to me.
Okay.
And you see the level here. Release of corticosteroids is regulated by the hormone
Cortisol.
cortisol itself is corticosteroid. A is adrenocorticotropic hormone. Cortisol itself is corticosteroid. So it cannot regulate its own release. The release is regulated by ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone. The release of ACTH is controlled by the hormone thyroid stimulating hormone. C, thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. What am I saying? Sorry. D, corticotrophin releasing hormone. I apologize. D, corticotrophin releasing hormone. DCRH is produced by which gland? Which gland produces corticotrophin releasing hormone?
Cortisol.
Is the hypothalamus. Is the hypothalamus. Anytime you hear releasing, and it is hormone, it is the hypothalamus. Don't think twice. Anytime you see, let's say growth hormone releasing hormone, once you see releasing, it's the hypothalamus. There is no need. Don't look at the other options. It's the hypothalamus. The gonadotropins, dash and dash, are produced during and after puberty. They regulate the function of the ovaries and testes and control egg and sperm production. A, LH and FSH, luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. Dash stimulates milk production by the breasts.
Prolactin.
The two hormones released by the neurohypophysis are dash and dash. Again, what is neurohypophysis? Posterior pituitary. So which hormones are released by the posterior pituitary gland?
Antidiuretic.
Antidiuretic hormone and what?
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin. Dash is a strong stimulant. That's A. The answer to that is A. Dash is a strong stimulant of uterine contractions.
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin. Antidiuretic hormone promotes
Water retention.
water
Retention.
retention. T4 is also known as
Thyroxine.
thyroxine. That's D.
Ah.
T3 is also known as what?
You said what, sir?
T3 is also known as what? See,
What's so like
it's
that?
straightforward. It's straightforward. Once you have seen tri means 3 now. T3 is
Yes.
triiodothyronine. Why T4 is thyroxine. T3 is triiodothyronine. Why T4 is thyroxine. In fact, T4 is also called tetraiodothyronine. Okay, so that's it. The triiodothyronine is T3, and they are hormones produced by which gland?
Thyroid.
Thyroid gland.
Thyroid.
Victor Apata, God bless you. You are really vibrating this night.
Àwa náà la kọ́kọ́ sọ.
Àwọn náà
Okay,
àkọ́kọ́ sọ.
ó wá bá yín gbé. Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
But ẹ̀yin ò ní confidence, ẹ máa ń whisper ẹ̀ ni, you don't say it out. Calcitonin stimulates
But
the thing is, calcitonin builds bone.
that's
And I
what
told you, osteoblasts build bone. When we're doing skeletal stem, I said blast for bone building. So calcitonin stimulates osteoblasts. Why? Osteoclasts are for bone resorption. So calcitonin inhibits osteoblasts. Osteoclasts. That's B. Calcitonin osteoclasts. B. Calcitonin stimulates osteoblasts. Osteoblasts are for bone building. Then osteoclasts are for bone resorption. And calcitonin, just let's see it as something that is toning something. Toning is not as in tones. When they say this man, his muscles are toned, it means that the muscles are well built. Okay, so when they say something is toning the bone, it means it's building the bone, all right? So an osteoblast are the bone cells for bone building. Okay, then osteoclasts are for bone resorption. They remove calcium away from the bone. So calcitonin will inhibit osteoclast. Parathyroid hormone release is inhibited by I told you there are two hormones. Calcium, yes, because parathyroid is about calcium. Parathyroid is about calcium. DASH stimulates the thyroid gland to produce thyroid hormones. TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. C. The adrenal glands are attached superiorly to which organ? The adrenal glands are attached superiorly to which organ?
Kidney.
Kidney. What does RENA mean? What does RENA mean? What does it mean? Rather?
Kidney.
So ad means on top. Adrena, on top of the kidneys. The adrenal glands are attached superiorly to which gland? Just split it into two. Adrena. So it means kidneys. Circulating hormones are released into DASH by an endocrine gland and must travel to reach their target.
The blood.
The blood. B. I've said it, endocrine glands are release hormones into blood, while exocrine gland release into where? Exocrine gland release into where? Oh wow, you are not giving me the vibe I want. They release into duct. They release into duct. I'm not giving me the vibe I want, because some of these things we have said them over and over and over and over again. Okay, they are repeating this question. We have answered it. Which secretory? Oh God, why am I mispronouncing things? Which secretory cell type is found in the adrenal medulla? Which secretory cell type is found in the adrenal medulla? Hey, yeah, this madam is trying to enter, but I think she's finding the gut. I don't allow what they talk about. Which secretory cell type is found in the adrenal medulla?
Nothing.
Talk, let me hear. Don't be scared now.
Oxyfeed.
Chromaffin cells. Chromaffin
Yes,
cells. Chromaffin cells. And what does the adrenal medulla produce? What does the adrenal medulla produce?
Endocrine, they're going to bring it to you know.
Endocrine. What do they produce? Adrenaline, noradrenaline. Why the adrenal cortex produce glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids? No. Which cell secretes melatonin? Which cell secretes melatonin?
Melanocytes.
Pinealocyte.
Pinealocytes. Pinealocytes. The production of melatonin is inhibited by, we have answered this before.
Oh God.
What's the answer?
Which one?
The production of
Exposure
melatonin.
to like
Exposure to bright light.
Exposure to bright light.
Okay. The production of FSH by the anterior pituitary is reduced by which hormone? Production of FSH. The answer is inhibin. Inhibin. Okay, I'm sorry that I'm a little bit fast. The reason why I'm a little bit fast is that you will get the gist in the videos. That's why I'm a little bit fast. If we are not fast, we have over 120 questions to answer. We will not finish it on time. So don't mind my pace. Okay. So if an autoimmune disorder targets the alpha cells, production of which hormone will be directly affected?
Glucagon.
Glucagon. We said the alpha cells of the pancreatic islet produce which hormone? Glucagon. The beta cell produce which hormone?
insulin.
Insulin. Good. Circulating hormones are released. We have answered this. Dash signals are similar to hormones in many ways, but act only on the very cells that release them.
Autocrine.
Autocrine, even from the name. Because how will you be acting on the cell that release you? That's autocrine. So dash signals are similar to hormones. The same question. No, not the same. Dash signals are similar to hormones in many ways, but act on neighboring cells.
Paracrine.
Paracrine. Good. Right is there. See, endocrine produce hormone. They go far to work. They go far. They go very far from where they are secreted to work. Let me give you an example. FSH is produced by the pituitary gland, anterior pituitary gland. It goes to your testes and ovaries to work. You can see that that distance is far. But autocrine, when they are produced, they work on the same cell that produced them. While paracrine, we work on neighboring cells, cells that are around. Okay? In order for a cell to respond to a hormone, The cell must have an appropriate receptor. Excellent. The pituitary is also called, we have answered this before. The anterior portion of the pituitary is the dash.
Adenohypophysis.
Adenohypophysis. Excuse me for a moment. Okay, the posterior portion of the pituitary is the dash. The posterior portion of the pituitary is the dash. Neurohypophysis. Normal development and activity of the thyroid gland is controlled by, I've answered this before. Thyroid stimulating hormone. See, the reason why you are seeing repetition of some questions is not mistake. It's because I collected all those questions from 2019. So they recycle their question. They recycle their question. And they will not be wicked by God's grace to give you new questions. But if they give you new questions, you will still answer them. Okay, so that's not a big deal. You just be around everything you have talked about. And if you can't answer them, so far you are doing pen on paper. God has buttered your bread. Okay, so your guys are also there to assist you. No, which number now?
85.
The release of corticosteroid is regulated by the hormone adrenocorticotropic. Yes. We have answered 86 too. 86 is DCRH. 86 is who is this favor? Is he Ogunkwade? Nofisat. Favor.
Sir.
Is he Ogunkwade, Favor?
Yes.
Are you finding it difficult to stay in the meeting?
Yes, sir.
The Zoom is giving you problem, have you?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Some people have also complained about it. I apologize. The reason why we're using it is because it's easy to record and just send straight. The times that I delete the videos, maybe I listen to the video and I realize that we said some things we shouldn't say. That's why I delete, I remove those parts, and I upload back again. So when Mrs. Fabian was saying, "Oh God, you deleted video," I listened to it, I realized we said some things. Take for instance, the big yash you said now, I may have to first edit and remove, and I may not.
That's
I may not. So which number now?
89. Ah, sorry.
87.
It's not bad anyway,
Yeah,
because all these ones are repetitions. 87 too is a repetition. We have answered it. The answer is A. Then 88 too is repetition. The answer is A. 89 too is repetition. We have answered it. The answer is A.
Yeah.
92 oxytocin. It just means that these questions, they have repeated them twice, if not thrice. ADH promotes water retention. T4 is also known as calcitonin stimulate. We have answered all this. Yes. Posterior pituitary is formed from. Posterior pituitary is formed from the nervous tissue. Nervous tissue. That's where posterior pituitary is formed from. And that's why it does not produce hormone. No. The hormones it releases are produced by the hypothalamus. and they are transmitted to the posterior pituitary that releases them. So its own function is just to release hormones. Okay.
Ah.
What's the issue? In both male and female, the hormone that stimulates the production of gametes, ova or spermatozoa by the gonad, is called production of gametes.
Follicle stimulating hormone. Follicle stimulating hormone.
Follicle stimulating hormone, very good. 98. Which of the following hormones is secreted during pregnancy to prepare the breast for, they like this hormone, to prepare the breast, prolactin. Which hormone is responsible for the secretion of testosterone by the testes?
Growth hormone.
100.
Is luteinizing hormone.
Okay.
Is luteinizing hormone. Some of you are already sleeping. Sorry. I'm not used to all these things. Reading at night. So that's luteinizing hormone. One of the following is associated with the maintenance of water and electrolyte balance.
Mineralocorticoid.
Mineralocorticoid. Good. Which of the following is produced by the adrenal cortex? I've mentioned it today. Which of the following is produced by the adrenal cortex?
Adrenaline.
Adrenaline.
No. See, from this name, ko. If they ask you for the hormone that is produced by it, just be looking for anything that has ko. Glucocorticoid. Adrenal cortex produce mineralocorticoid, glucocorticoid. Just be looking for anything that has corti. That's it. Adrenaline is produced by the adrenal medulla. Okay. Among the following, which of these is responsible for the conversion of glucose to glycogen? We are almost done.
Glucado.
Insulin. The medulla is completely surrounded by the adrenal cortex. By the adrenal cortex. Hypersecretion of adrenal cortex hormones results to Cushing syndrome. Yes, Cushing syndrome. All the other ones, they are by some other hormones. Okay. One of these hormones converts excess glucose to glycogen. This is repetition. Is insulin. One of these is not a hormone of the anterior pituitary lobe. What? C. Oxytocin. Diabetes insipidus is a result of insufficient vasopressin. It's because of deficiency of ADH or vasopressin. The endocrine system. Sorry, we are almost done. We are going to 120 and we have less than 10 left. For those of you yawning, we are almost done. The endocrine system Question 108. What's the answer?
B.
No. The endocrine does not release neurotransmitters. They release hormones. So the answer is A. Relies on the release of chemicals that bind to target cells. Hypothalamic hormones that stimulate the synthesis and secretions of one or more hormones in the arterial lobe are called A in the answer 108.
Okay.
109. Okay. Hypothalamic hormones that stimulate the synthesis and secretions of one or more hormones in the anterior lobe are called. What did I tell you about hypothalamus?
Releasing hormone.
Releasing hormone.
Releasing
So
hormone.
anytime you hear releasing, is the hypothalamus. Releasing means hypothalamus. All hormones are
Chemical messengers.
chemical messengers. Very good. One of these is not classified as an antidiuretic.
Adolescent.
Yes, oxy.
Aldosterone.
Aldosterone.
Oxytocin. You got it.
Oh.
The beta cells of the pancreatic islet produce
Insulin.
reduced secretion of insulin will result in
Diabetes.
Diabetes
Insipidus.
owó lẹ́yìn sọ ìbá iṣẹ́ tí ń sùn ni diabetes mellitus.
Okay.
You guys.
Any sùúrù. Sir,
Yeah.
please
What's the issue?
scroll down to the questions first, Abby, because I think his diabetes Abi, whatever.
The ibẹ̀ is ADH vasopressin, diabetes insipidus.
Okay.
Diabetes insipidus. Let me explain. Maybe I'm rushing too much, but it's because I want you to have a very short video. We have spent over 1 hour now, so that's why I'm rushing, so that at least we'll cover. Diabetes insipidus is due to deficiency of ADH. And in diabetes insipidus, you just be urinating a lot, but it won't be sweet. There is no sugar in it. There is no glucose. That's why they say diabetes insipidus. That word insipidus means no taste. But diabetes mellitus means sweet. Mellitus means sweet urine. So in the case of mellitus, there is sugar, and it's caused by the deficiency of insulin. That's what causes it.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So diabetes insipidus is vasopressin. Diabetes mellitus is insulin. Dash is an example of a gland.
Pancreas.
Pancreas. The target of the hormone erythropoietin is
Bone marrow.
bone marrow. The hormone that opposes the function of parathyroid hormone is
Calcitonin.
calcitonin. An enlarged thyroid is the result of deficiency of
Calcium.
iodine.
Sorry.
Iodine causes goiter. Deficiency of it causes goiter. Don't forget. Then the reason why you should also not forget is T3 is called triiodo. The iodo is from iodine. It's not from any other. It's iodine. Iodo. Ajet taught you chemistry now. So when you have iodine in a molecule, that's where you get iodo from. So it's iodine. It's iodine. Glucagon is secreted by Dash cells. Repetition again. We have like 3
Alpha.
questions. Alpha. Hormone is secreted by glands into
Blood.
blood. Gigantism results from abnormality of Dash hormone.
Growth hormone.
Growth hormone. Excessive secretion of growth hormone. Hormone implicated in the development of secondary sexual characteristics in male is
Testosterone.
testosterone. Thank God, the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ. So we take reproductive system and other ones another night. We have been able to solve nervous system and endocrine system. So we take other systems in subsequent nights. All right. Have a splendid night rest.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.